Hey there, this is man once again. Welcome back to another review, this time of the new Tomb Raider film that came out earlier this year. Gets across around $90 million. It made about 50 some million in the US. But it did make some money foreign, so it made around 270 million worldwide. And I thought this movie was fucking boring. Right off the bat. Generic, slow, boring. Any tiny bits of action you already saw in the trailer. And granted, I know that's a constant thing, sadly, with a lot of trailers today. Even movies back then, they did that too. But if it's put together and it goes at a good pace and it gels the right way, I would forgive it. But here, it doesn't, in my opinion. It's just a generically boring, forgettable film with no set pieces that stand out to me. It takes forever for it to get going. And then even when it does get going, it's all for not much of anything. I know this is more based on the reboot of the video game in 2013, which I never played. I've only played the older Tomb Raider games, Tomb Raider 2 for PlayStation 1, way back in the day. I didn't beat it, but I remember playing it. And, I enjoy this one. I do. I never understood the hate for this one in 2001. People hate this now. Gets a lower rating than this movie, which I don't get. This one's more exciting. It's more thrilling. Weirdly enough, it's fucking shorter. Like, this is an hour and 40 minutes. This film's an hour and 57 minutes. And this has more stuff going on. You have a beginning with two guns, bang bang, with this training sequence with some cool music. Here, it's just a father narrating how he went to this island, and then Lara Croft is boxing, where the camera keeps fucking doing this, that annoying shit, and then she loses. And I'm like, keep the fucking camera still, and this is an origin story. I'm tired of fucking origin stories, man. Like, she doesn't have any of those two pistols. She gets it in the final scene of the movie. Like, the last shot. I'll take two, cut the credits. So she does, I mean, she doesn't even have those two guns. She kills two or so people with a bow and arrow and drowns one in mud. And the main bad guy, Walton Goggins, who's in Predators and other fucking movies. He was the prisoner in Predators. He's the main villain here. This one, I thought, and you know what, the girl, Alicia Vikander, whatever her name is, I don't think she was horrible. She was there, but I much preferred her because she had spunk, energy, she had a smile on her face, she seemed like she was enjoying herself, she loved what she was doing, and even right there you could tell she has almost a little smile on her face. She loves her job. She loves what she's doing. When she's sleeping and she's having to steer on her feet and has these sled dogs dragging her, she's laughing and because she loves what she does. She's full of life and energy and spunk. While here, it's a very sad, depressed, trying to be realistic, even though realistic things don't happen, but yet trying for, as a person on Facebook said, born realism. And okay, you want to make it realistic, fine, but don't make it fucking boring. I can watch Heat and Collateral for, if you want to call it realism, but they're good movies. This is a fun movie. Sorry, I want a fun movie than a boring, realistic movie. Again, even though there's not realistic shit in it. This has good action set pieces. This scene here when she's going back and forth on the real practical thing. When the bad guys come into her mansion, she's using the bungee cords and then the motorcycle to stop these bad guys and using her two pistols. And this one isn't that good. I saw this in the theater and I fell the fuck asleep. But even I would rather watch this than this because this actually has some real stunt work, real practical stuff. At least some of it. Here, what you get, a storm Straight out of The Perfect Storm, only more CGI orgasm fest. Half this fucking movie probably wasn't a fucking green screen. You get the tomb at the end where you have like this couple traps that are CG. You have where she tries to walk over this log, falls in a river, grabs the pieces of his plane, gets off before it falls apart. Then the plane falls. She's getting thrown around inside, grabs the parachute, disappears in the CGI land, parachute, and most of it looks like a fucking video game cutscene. I'm like, is this the movie or is this the video game? Because at least these movies, and I'm not even much a fan of this one, but especially this one, at least they had real practical stuff. And like someone's like, "Oh, this is a spit in the face of Tomb Raider." I played the game. I don't know how this is spit in the face. She looked, sounded like Lara Croft. She did the shit like Lara Croft. You have adventure, going to different lands, artifacts. What the fuck are people talking about? I don't get it. Yet this gets the hate, and this gets more of a pass. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I'm not a sucker for boring. Boring is not what I look for in movies. And the rest of the movie, there's not much to say about it, even though it's longer than this fucking movie by almost 20 minutes. It's, like I said, her father has a narration where he disappeared to an island. She's boxing, she loses, the director can't keep the fucking camera still. She is poor. Like, she's poor? Oh, because she didn't sign the thing for the inheritance, which you find out why later. She's delivering stuff on bicycles and then gets in this fox hunt where the other bicyclists are chasing her, and if they don't catch her, she gets a blob of money. I'm like, is this Tomb Raider or is this Premium Rush 2? Am I watching a Tomb Raider movie or am I watching the sequel to Premium Rush? And I like Premium Rush. People probably don't know what the hell that movie is. It's a good movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt about a bicycle courier, and then some shady shit happens. Really well done bicycling sequence. Like Premium Rush, I wish I was watching more than this. And there's some little decent cycling, bicycle scenes, but I'm like, I'd rather just watch Premium Rush. She gets in an accident, hits a cop car. She won't take the inheritance from, I think it's Kristin Scott Thomas was the actress's name, the older lady. She finds this hidden place with a message from her dad. There's this lost island. Nick Frost from some of the Edgar Wright movies. He was in Shaun of the Dead. He was in Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, others. He's in this for 2 scenes. Works at a pawn shop. Here he's fucking with the girl for 30 seconds, and then the final scene in the movie where she buys the 2 guns. Cut the credits. So Ned Frost, he's in it for like a minute at most. She goes to Hong Kong. Her stuff gets stolen. Boring foot chase. Meets his boat captain. The guy Daniel Wu, he was fine. Yeah, he was all right. There's a storm, this CGI orgasm fest, so much fucking green screen. This movie shouldn't be called a fucking live action movie. I mean, no thrills, no excitement. Taking out of the movie, just she's jumping. It's like watching the skyscraper trail with the Rock. He's jumping from the crane to the building. This is all a video game. This is all a green screen, and it's just I'm getting so tired of that nowadays that it literally does look like. I know it's based on a video game. Doesn't mean it has to look like a video game. And don't so many of its set pieces do that, man. They just where's the suspense? Where's the thrill? I miss the days of cliffhanger. I miss the days of hard target. I miss the days of even Daylight with Stallone, where the real shit happening, real explosions. When Stallone's running and that big thing is right behind him in Daylight, and he's running, and it's right on its ass, and it's real. It's really there. I miss that. It's fine if you have some digital effects, but when it's like this or the trailer for Skyscraper or all this, it just takes over the movie. Like, this had some actual practical stuff in it. Stunt work, action set pieces. This, though, you might as well play the fucking video game if that's the case. Because you're getting almost the same thing. No, actually, with the video game, at least you're doing something. You're behind the controls. So, that whole storm scene, it was an orgasm fest of CG. She's on the island. Daniel is too. Walton Goggins is the bad guy. They're making these people dig to find this place. The two try to escape. Daniel gets captured. That's when she tries to go over this log, falls in the water, grabs a piece of the plane. You see a lot of that in the trailer. Then the plane is going down. She's inside, grabs a parachute, pulls it. CGI fashion goes down. She gets a little bit of stab wound on the side. It's not cool like Rambo 3 where you pull it out and put some. Nope. This guy at night, she struggles. It's a bit dark, so I can barely see what's going on. Drowns him in the mud while grappling him. There's this guy watching, follows him. It's her dad. Her dad's not dead. Dominic West? Forget the actor's name. I think the first name is Dominic. I believe. I could be wrong. His dad's been there. Her dad's been there for a while. The bad guys are looking for this place. They find it. He's like, oh, he's mad because he's been trying to get these bad guys to not find it because there's a curse and it'll fuck up the world. She gets a bow and arrow. She shoots like one guy. The Asian guy gets a machine gun with a grenade launcher attached. Seems as if he's kicking more ass. He's shooting more people, shooting a grenade launcher. Seems like Daniel Wu's more badass than Lara Croft. The bad guy has the dad. She opens his door. Her, the dad, Walton Goggins, and Walton Goggins' men go into this tomb. This is where you get your tomb rating. There's a couple of booby traps. I'm always a sucker for booby traps. There's spikes that come out and impale a guy. There's one where the floor caves out and they have to put the right stone in. That's pretty much it. So even that's not much. They find the tomb. They realize there was this disease that this woman went there because she was a carrier and she didn't want it to infect anyone else. But, if you touch it, it fucks you up, turns you all black, and then turns you kind of like a zombie. I'm like, is fucking Umbrella going to show up? Is Chris Redfield going to show up? Nemesis show up saying stars. So you don't show up? And even the ending's not much. Just one bad guy chases Lara Croft, who leads him to this trap where you step on stuff, these CGI. Where I put it? Think of a log going down like this, but then the log is filled with spikes. But of course, it's PG-13, so you're not going to see too much blood or anything. And again, CGI fashion. She jumps over one. She does one of those things, where you do this and it hits the guy behind her. The dad gets infected, so he's going to blow it up. You go on without me. She fights Walter Goggins. She's getting her ass kicked. The dad blows it up. The explosion distracts Walter Goggins. She fights him, hits him in the net, puts this little piece he had in the guy's throat so he's infected, hits him to this dark chasm, escapes, bunch of CGI. Her, Daniel Wu, and the people who were there to dig up, they escape on this helicopter, they go back, and then the ending is just a setup for more films. Like, oh, this woman, Kristin Scott Thomas, she's actually involved with the bad guys. And, oh, she's got jobs to do, and she's going to take down this organization that's behind it all. And then she sees Nick Frost in order to get the two guns. There you go, that's the movie. I just told the whole movie for you. Doesn't sound like much, does it? I mean, The lead actress is there. She's not horrible. She's not terrible. I would put her above Gal Gadot, the duty from Wonder Woman. Yeah, well, that's the one thing I remember the most from Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. But we got to do a duty. I would put Alicia Vikander above Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot. Gal, get the fuck out of my face. I know at one point they wanted Daisy Ridley as Lara Croft. You know what? I mean, she's not even the big problem. The girl who played Lara Croft. I prefer Angelina Jolie, but she's not even the problem. It's the direction. It's the script. It's just so generic, boring, forgettable type of flick. Action set pieces, CGI orgasm, way too much CG. Should have been more practical effects. Practical for $90 million. This is the best you can do. Most of it looks like it was on a fucking green screen. This is the best you can do for $90 million. I mean, that's sad then. Sad state of affairs in Hollywood today. And it was just a boring movie. This is one of those movies that literally I had to stop and do other shit. I literally did do other shit. I stopped it. I lost so much interest so many times. I did my dishes. I went to the bathroom. I looked up stuff on the internet. I typed some stuff on Facebook. I was literally doing, and then okay, let me get through this. It was a slog, slushy fest to get through. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know, but it turned my brain to fucking mush. I mean, I haven't seen too many films of this year. Would I put on the worst? With the little amount of films I've seen, sure. It's a forgettable, boring, generic piece of shit. The music I don't remember a damn thing about. The direction, nothing about it stands out. The CG, way too overused. Trying to be realistic, but it's not realistic because at the end, when she's got a steep, she does this jump over this chasm that, yeah, maybe if she was Spider-Man, she would have made it. Almost remind me of the trailer of Cliffhanger, but that was done for real. That was done with wires and stuff. And even Rennie Harlan's like, yeah, that's too unrealistic. Let's cut it out. But even if that was a Cliffhanger, I'd buy it. Fuck it. Just because it's not realistic doesn't mean it's not fun. But it just, the reason I bring it up is for a film that's trying to think it's so realistic, this down to earth realism. And I'm like, well, pick one. What do you want, movie? Pick it. Do you want down to earth realism, but then you want to have the CGI, her jumping over this chasm, like which Walter Goggins they needed. It was funny because the chasm, there was this ladder that was going from A to B. She kicked it off, and Goggins was like, "No, we're gonna die." But then she was able to jump over just fine, as if she was Spider-Man. So I just find it funny that again, this movie wants to be so badly realistic, down to earth, but then it does crazy shit like that. So I'm like, pick it, movie. This movie knew and picked a side. Movies like this don't even want to pick a side. That's one of the reasons that it fails. And if it was entertaining, or it was done with practical stunt work and practical effects and real, maybe I would give it leeway. But a boring movie is a boring movie. And this was a boring as hell movie. Way too fucking long. It felt long. And I can see why it did not do well in the US. And if you liked it, good on you. I don't get it. Name one action set piece worth of shit. What is there to like about it? Why is it quote so much better than this movie? I don't get it. This actually has real stunt work, real action, actual set pieces. Even the soundtrack is decent. I don't remember a damn thing about this. least not music wise. I mean, I'm going on all the fronts. It's just generic and boring. I keep reusing those and retooling those because it's the best way for me to describe this flick. So I'll just keep repeating myself. I'll end it here. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you in the next one. Later.